here this weekend. Check it out. We've got Riley Knight alongside Mani Devuti in the booth for you, as well as Cedric Phillips alongside Corey Baumeister. And it's time for draft here this morning. Some of my favorite words to say on air, and I'm going to pass it on over to Riley and Mani with the call.
Thanks very much, Maria, and welcome to the booth for the first time today here in Amsterdam. My name's Riley Knight, and I'm joined by Mani Devuti. Mani, it is fantastic to be sitting next to you, and I'm getting very excited about the fact that we get to call the draft in just a few moments as it gets stuck in. Before that, though, I want to get your sort of high-level take on this format, very complex one, as we've talked about, one that's going to reward people who have familiarity with some of the more complex mechanics. But, you know, what are your thoughts on Modern Horizons 3 draft?
It's interesting because it's a really cool format. There is a lot going on, and it does have that element of rewarding high-skill play, decision-making, resource management over the course of a long game. But of course, with the increased power level, there is the possibility of games being done very quickly and players just being overrun. So one of the things that I'm really interested in is how players are going to try to toe that line of managing their resources, but also drafting in a way where even the greedier or slower decks that are more card advantage oriented are still able to play that early game and survive.
Often we characterize formats as being either fast or slow, right? Formats where 2 drops are king, you know, you never want to block, you always want to be attacking. And then there are formats that are a little longer, a little slower. This one sort of can go either way.
Yeah, I feel like it really does fall in the middle where the potential for the games to be hyper fast definitely exists. We have the tools in the format, especially in the energy and the modified decks, to just roll over a game, snowball really quickly, and it's just done. However, that midpoint of the game, if players are able to survive, can result in a lot of nothing, and then the games can go very long.
So we'll see how things go. We've already talked through some of the major archetypes we might be looking at. Energy, Eldrazi, maybe go off script a little bit and get into some of those black-based archetypes that we don't see too often. But we are getting underway here, opening the packs in our first draft at Pro Tour Modern Horizons 3 here in Amsterdam. What a pleasure it is to have your company around the world wherever you've chosen to join us. We deeply appreciate you being with us. And we are going to watch the reigning Pro Tour champion, Yoshihiko Ikawa, get stuck in. Pack 1, pick 1, Mani. Here we go. What is he hoping to see?
Writhing Chrysalis, honestly. Normally you would say a rare or a mythic, but let's be realistic. At this point, you just want a common. You want the best common ever printed in Magic, and Writhing Chrysalis would be a great one to be staring back at you here.
Sprout Swarm.
Your time is over.
That's it, yep. All right, well, we are seconds away here. We're going to see what will it be here for our Japanese Pro Tour champion. These players, of course, I mean, I want to say, Mani, walking into this room, feeling the hush that descends over the hall as the draft begins, and we are underway here. Let's see what Ikawa can find in pack number 1 here. Let's see what he's working with as the players shuffle through the cards. Malevolent Rumble, you can see a White Orchid Phantom, brings an Expel the Unworthy to the front of the pack. Voltstorm Angel also under consideration, as is Unstable Amulet. Now, I don't see anything too exciting in the rare slot here, Mani.
Yeah, it does look like Ikawa is really considering the uncommons here, and both of these cards pretty good in the energy archetype. Unstable Amulet can be truly incredible if you can keep that steady stream of energy going. If you can have a game where you're activating the amulet essentially every turn, getting that extra card, and those cards are just recouping your energy, you're going to have this engine where you're just continuously getting more cards and dealing damage to your opponent.
All right, picks the Unstable Amulet. That's pack 1, pick 1 here for Ikawa. So he'll be looking for perhaps follow that up with some more energy-based picks. What have we got? Sneaky Snacker, Propagated Drone, Deep Analysis. Exborn Hydra's a nice one. And a Reiterating Bolt, which is another energy card, although fine even if you have 0 ways to make energy.
Yeah, if you're casting Reiterating Bolt to deal 3 damage, completely fine removal spell. But if you can replicate it once, okay, great. If you can replicate it twice, now we're getting into ridiculous territory. And I think with that Amulet first pick, it is very much in Ikawa's favor to stay the course. There are a lot of tempting cards in different archetypes here, the Deep Analysis, the Sneaky Snacker, the Propagator Drone, but you have an excellent card in the color that you already have a pick in. Stay the course, pick your lane and stay in it, and try to end up with a good deck.
Well, you say stay in the lane here, but if this ends up being a different different sort of red deck. You know, the Replicating Bolt fits into an Eldrazi list as well. But no, we have another energy card, a couple of energy cards here in the form of, we saw Riddlegate Gargoyle there, and a Party Thrasher as well.
Party Thrasher is one of my absolute favorite cards in this format, and absolutely excellent with the Unstable Amulet as well, as you do get to cast cards from exile and get potentially either Convoke on them from the Thrasher or dealing damage to your opponent from the Amulet. So already some synergy and an excellent third pick rare here for Ikawa.
Happy to see that one. It works very well, as you say, with the Amulet and, of course, the Bolt, a rock-solid removal spell. So opening up some pretty decent red cards here, and the only red card in this pack, I believe, was that Glimpse the Impossible. Anything else here to consider?
There is a Thraben Charm if Ikawa wants to begin looking at a second color. White is typically one that you do want to pair with red for these energy decks if possible, but there is a heavy incentive to cut the only red card from the pack and send a very clear signal going that way that, hey, red is not coming your way.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what Ikawa's gone for here, picking that Glimpse the Impossible. And this is another great card, right? It does have a level of flexibility. It can serve as a ram spell. It can serve as essentially a divination in the late game. Ooh, what is this, money? A Conduit Goblin? Are we going into white after all?
I mean, this is what you're hoping to see, right? That you're hoping that you've staked your claim early to red. Now you get the premium red-white common, in the Conduit Goblin. This is an energy card. This makes the deck come together, and you're getting a direction, and nothing else in the pack works for you.
There is nothing else in the pack that you're looking at and being like, oh, if only. You're taking this card, you're staking your claim, as you say, and Conduit Goblin is a really, really scary card. These Boros energy decks can be very, very aggressive indeed coming out the gates. All right, let's look at what we've got here, and it looks like Perilous Landscape may be the pick. There's also an Expel the Unworthy, a little slow as a removal spell, but Perilous Landscape will work very well in this list as it is a Boros fixer, but also if he potentially wants to splash any blue energy cards, this will enable that.
Yeah, there's a lot of decks in this format that are going to be 2 colors and a splash. So when you have one of these common lands in the cycle that make 2 of your colors, that's already great because it comes into play untapped. It's sort of like an Evolving Wilds plus. But when it makes 3 of your colors, if you are all 3 of those colors, these lands are incredible.
Bit of a weaker pack here for Ikawa. The Nyxborn Unicorn, it's fine. It's okay. Not playing the Battle Mage, obviously. That's in the Simic colors there, but Contaminated Wasteland also consideration if you're thinking you're going to end up in blue as well, but the Unicorn's fine.
Yeah, the Unicorn's fine. It's a 2-drop. You're happy with it. It does have some synergies. One thing I will say that Ikawa is probably a little concerned about in his seat is he's seeing those Battle Mages go very late. He's seeing maybe 1 energy or red/white card in each pack. So Eldrazi is open. His archetype feels like you're getting cards, but it's slowly constricting.
And moving into another color here with Tempest Harvester, just staying the course with the energy theme, and now,
5 seconds.
Well, the White Orchard fandom is, well, a lot of fun to cast, but it's also hard to cast, and instead it's Mandibular Kite here, which I think is the safer pick, and also just, again, another rock-solid card.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you don't want to be committing to double pip cards in a position where you're not sure what your second or third color is. He knows he's red. The second color, unknown.
Bountiful Landscape here, again supporting the blue splash, which at the moment is only represented in the form of a Tempest Harvester. But who knows, we could see this transition into more of a blue deck, especially with something like a Riddlegate Gargoyle. That's very late for that card.
That is very late. It's a little unfortunate considering the Gargoyle is a blue-white card, and he's red, but he's hoping only one of those cards makes it into his deck.
Now, Manny, you mentioned that the Eldrazi deck seems to be open. That was a 12th pick monstrous Malevolent Rumble. That's very late. That's a very, very good 2-drop.
It is. It's interesting because this format has very high card quality. There's very few unplayable cards. So depending on the right makeup of a pack, you could absolutely see a Rumble go that late and have it be reasonable. You're not going, oh my god, what is this doing here? But at the same time, there is this nagging feeling at the back of your mind. I've seen those battle mages. Now I'm seeing this rumble. I don't think Ikawa could have possibly been in that lane given how his draft started. I think he's very much done what the draft has presented him, but you are hoping that you don't end up with a train wreck after this beginning, because his beginning was incredible. He has the tools, he has a solid base right now. It's just a matter of converting this into a cohesive deck.
I'd say the first 6 to 7 picks felt really, really good, but then as you say, the energy kind of dried up. We moved into blue as well with the Gargoyle, with the Tempest Harvester. So here, this is an interesting position for Ikawa, because he could go one of 3 ways, really, with the list that he has. I don't necessarily see him going, is it? Probably not, is it? But red, white, white, blue. I think these are the avenues that are available to him. And again, thanks to cards like Perilous Landscape, splashing is a lot easier than usual.
Yeah. I think Ikawa's concern really began with the Conduit Goblin pick. I think when that was the only card in the pack, it was like, okay, this is pick 5. There's 1 card in this pack for me. I have some concerns. And then once we reached the Nyxborn Unicorn, things started going downhill. It's like, okay, I am being contested, which is to be expected with Energy and Eldrazi and Modified spanning across multiple color combinations. You can't really expect your specific lane to be open. Things are going to get taken. Things are going to get splashed using these landscapes. So ultimately, there is demand for these premium cards.
Let's have a look at what's in pack 2 here. We can get Emrakul's Messenger, a Cyclops Superconductor, and a Ral Monsoon Mage. I expect we'll be seeing a lot more of that card later on in the day, Marnie. Oh, but a Metastatic Evangel is very nice with all the energy counters.
Yeah, Evangel, typically a card that you're more excited for in the modified archetypes, but proliferating does apply to energy as well. So all of your creatures coming into play and providing you an extra energy counter, already great. If you have ways to get other counters as well, so far we see Ikawa has a Nyxborn Unicorn that can mentor on some counters onto a creature and then start proliferating those. So Evangel is a card that can definitely give you compounding value.
So that's going to be the pick here, the 3-1. The first pick in pack number 2 for Yoshihiko Ikawa. Reading through his player profile, it was interesting how he answered the, tell us how you qualified for this Pro Tour. He just wrote, I won the last one.
Yep. It's simple as it gets.
Pretty clear cut.
That'll get you here.
Let's have a look at pick 2 here of pack 2, Emrakul's Messenger. We've got an Ether Spike, another energy card that could be of some value. And Razorgrass Ambush, an option as well in terms of removal. It looks like he's pretty set on the Messenger. I like the way Ikawa drafts. He makes it pretty clear which cards he's really thinking about.
Yeah, it's both benefiting us, but also benefiting himself, that he is looking through the pack and just making sure that there's a clear divide between the cards he's considering and the cards that he isn't, to clear up that mental energy. I think this is a very interesting pick, because Emrakul's Messenger is great, especially if you do have a way to draw that second card per turn and activate it, but just the 2-mana 2/1 flyer is good. But it is blue, and he took it over pretty decent white cards there.
Well, maybe thinking he wants to move more into the white-blue. He does have, he does have the Real Gate Gargoyle to support that, and here a Solar Transformer is also going to enable him to not only support the energy thing that's unrolling, but if he ends up in say Azorius, he can splash the red removal that he's got with something like a Solar Transformer.
Yeah, it is fixing. It is very good fixing, and it makes energy. So if you don't use the energy that you're getting from it for colored mana, if you're just using it for colorless mana, that energy can go into your other sources, which is very helpful. And I think one thing that Ikawa is considering at this point, you keep mentioning Azorius, I think you're right, because it's the red that is really drying up. He's not seeing it in either direction right now.
You can see, look, yeah, I think here he's sort of recognized, right, he attempted to cut red, he attempted to sort of stamp his mark on that color, but it's just not flowing. And so we're seeing here a Solstice Zealot and utter insignificance. And again, look, Solstice Zealot, not the sort of card you're running around high-fiving everyone having picked up in pack in pack 4, but you take it. Energy, tap something down, it's not too bad.
If you have a steady stream of energy to feed that card, a tapper that doesn't actually use mana is very strong. The card is able to do quite a bit of work, especially in a format like this where there are few creatures that really matter on the other side of the board. So tapping a Giant Eldrazi, something with Trample or Annihilator, that can be the difference between multiple turns of living.
Cyclops Superconductor under consideration here. There's also a Wing It and a couple of other blue cards. Well, we're not playing Waterlog Teachings at this stage, I don't think. I love that card.
Yep.
I absolutely love that card. The old, a lot of throwbacks in this set to to old cards like that, which is lovely to see. But no, we're going to see the Cyclops Superconductor instead, which is moving us back into red here, Marnie.
Yeah, you look at Ikawa in that top left there, hand over his eye, because he knows that this is going into train wreck territory. It looked like he had a direction with that Azorius that was...
A couple of red gold cards are really just zagging on him.
It's like, I'm doing great. I'm moving into Azorius. I'm getting cards that matter. And then this pack is like, Conduit Goblin, I'm back.
I'm back, baby. Conduit Goblin, number 2, I believe, now, for Ikawa. And now a Galvanic Discharge as well. So red is back on the menu here. And a Ral is... Oh,
there's 2 Rals in this pack. Yeah. Really, though, this is just an easy discharge. It is one of the best removal spells in the format. Red's best common, in my opinion, and absolutely incredible for the energy deck, because if you're ever casting it and getting some leftover energy from it, that's money in the bank.
There's no doubt it's a good... Oh, my goodness, and now Riddlegate Gargoyle. Oh, my goodness, the Identity Crisis deepens here. Do we just take the Pinnacle Monk? But then that's a double red card. Where are we going? Ikawa in this situation, he is caught between... He's got a foot in either camp. What's he going to do?
The good thing about the Monk, at least, is it is a modal double face card. It could be a land for your red cards, but I think Ikawa is just saying that I'm going to take the most powerful card to figure it out.
And now another Jeskai Gold card in the form of Cyclops Superconductor, although he's maybe considering the strength of the Harvest here. No, we're going 3-4 color, baby.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
It'll all come out in the wash. So that was, in the space of 4 picks, 3 different signpost gold cards, all in different colors.
Fantastic.
Yeah, this is drafting at the highest level, as we see Siege Smash, an unimpressive, but still, you know, playable card if you need a 23rd.
Notably, the black-green modified deck just going around the table. That was a Curse Wombat and an Ooze there in that pack, so nobody interested in those.
No, thank you. Another Tempest Harvester. I believe that's the 2nd Tempest Harvester here for Ikawa. Let's see what the last couple of packs give him. Barbarian Ring, Creation of Everson, and it looks like Ikawa is very seriously considering taking Island out of this pack. But no, goes for the Barbarian Ring.
You have 5 seconds.
And finally, a Cephalid Colosseum. And the last couple of picks not going to be super relevant for this draft, you would think. No, I don't imagine Power Balance will be making it into the final 4.
I don't believe so.
No. All right, let's review here, Marnie. Your thoughts as we head into Pack 3, the review period for these players, a chance for them to have a look at what they've put together. And Marnie DeVito, your thoughts on where Ikawa is sitting right now?
I think that he's still got the best Azorius base, even though on individual power level, his best cards are red.
Perfect.
I think,
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly where you want to be.
Exactly where you want to be.
I think the base of his Azorius deck might be the most cohesive. Maybe is it? It's really hard to say, because you have those 2 Cyclops and those 2 Goblins and those 2 Gargoyles. Yeah. So you really have every signpost common trying to pull you in different directions.
Here's my question. We've got individually high card quality, right?
Yeah.
We've got some fixing already, picked up a couple of lands, right?
Yep.
Picked up the Mana Rock. Is the play from here for Ikawa just to pick up every single, is it colored or you know, any combination of those 2, you see a team or whatever, fetch land at this point, because you've already got such a high card quality with your deck? Are you prioritizing now fixing to try to actually just straight up play all 3 colors?
I think Ikawa is going to make the safer choice and try to pick up cards that would cement him in a 2-color archetype with maybe a 3rd splash, rather than just lay down and accept his fate of, I am 3 colors and there is no way to fix this. So I think that the first priority, as you do see head and hands for Ikawa there, the first priority is, hopefully this pack gives me 1 solid color of this is my main color, and I can work with that. And then you can figure out the commons and the colors that go alongside that.
So my initial impression, if that's the route we take, is that he will be looking to stay in in white-blue, and then maybe splash those removal spells, the Replicating Bolt, the Galvanic Discharge.
40 seconds.
I think that would be ideal if possible.
Uh-oh. But here's a very strong red card in the form of Spawn Gang Command, although it does require
Oh my
colorless
God.
mana. And what else have we got in the pack? We've got a Glimpse the Impulse, we've got a Royal Cartographer, we've got oh my
and
goodness,
Ophelia,
a Volatile Storm Drake, we've got a Static Prison. It's all coming together. Can he just take 6 cards out of this pack, Marty?
Yeah, this is the can I take the pack and not pick any more of this pack sort of pack. But I think as you do see the prioritization of the cards, the blue-white cards are obviously the most powerful in the pack, but they are also the colors that he's most leaning. For me, if I'm not certain I'm playing that Ophelia, I'm picking this Royal Cartographer because it is absolutely incredible in the energy deck. If he thinks that no matter where I go, blue is in my deck, I'm picking that Royal Cartographer.
Royal Cartographer is the pick. I know if any of you out there have played this format even a little bit and come across this card, it's incredible how trivial the cost of 6 mana. You think 6 energy is like, oh, that's a lot. Turns out in these energy decks, they can pretty reliably generate it with cards like Emissary of Soulfire. Here is another big reason to stay in the Azorius colors. This card is fantastic. A great place to dump extra energy. Exalted counters stacking up. All, of course, triggering individually. So, you know, that's a great thing to pile behind a Riddlegate Gargoyle, for instance. Also, Thraben Charm in the pack, but I think he's pretty set in the Emissary here.
Yeah, and he's being tested a bit. There is a Perilous Landscape. That is the Jeskai land. That is the land that fixes all of the mana for his deck. So this comes back to the discussion we were having in between packs is he going to pick up every land, or is he going to try to cement a direction? And I think this Emissary is making a definitive statement that I am going to try to be Azorius, maybe splashing my red if I can make the mana work, but I'm not going to be prioritizing mana first here.
A couple of landscapes there as well. Sheltering Landscape will help the red splash if that does end up being the way he goes. But Ajani Fell's the Godsire. A little slow, but still a very powerful piece of removal. Exiles an opposing monster and then makes a little 2/1. Before getting something in with Double Strike. It's got some good utility.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a high pick that I'm excited about, but it's a card that does a lot. The removal, extremely relevant in the format, both exile and the ability to go after larger creatures. Then the rest of it is just a bit of a body. Vigilance counter on a creature is great. It can do work.
Look at this. We've got a Dreamtide Whale here. There is that Metastatic Evangel that will be able to proliferate those vanishing counters, those time counters here. Is he going to be able to double spell all that much, do you think?
His deck is very cheap, very low costed. So double spelling turn after turn, definitely in the cards for him. And I think that may lead to the Whale being the pick, because if you can double spell and get those proliferates on your energy as well, this is suddenly a source of making things happen.
Yeah, it's not just putting the time counters on the Whale, but also proliferating those. And another Dreamtide Whale. The whole pod's here. My goodness, it's migration season off the east coast of Australia right now, so you can see they're all coming home to roost.
10 seconds.
Another Dreamtide Whale looks to be the pick here for Ikawa. And look, you know, if he is able to string together those double spell turns, he is going to be making bank.
Especially if you have 2 whales in play.
Oh, mate. Oh, let's get... you not even an unreasonable situation for him to consider playing a whale, playing another whale, and then, you know, the Galvanic Discharge, or maybe he picks up a Tune the Narrative or something like that, and then he's off to the races.
And you can see his body language has absolutely changed at this point. You can see that Ikawa is more confident in the draft again, is feeling good. Instead of having 6 cards pulled up to the front, it's usually 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And he feels like he knows what he's doing now.
So it looks like we're going to take the Tranquil Landscape here above the Riddlegate Gargoyle. Already 2 of them in his deck, but now, no, taking the Azorius Fixer.
Yeah, I think at this point, Ikawa knows how many playables he has. And he's like, okay, my deck is good. It's solid. I have a lot of powerful cards that work together. I just need to make sure my mana works, and I can get the job done here.
So another energy card in the form of Solstice Zealot, not too interested in the Electrozoa, as you may imagine. Oh, but that's a Conduit Goblin in the back of the pack here. So you can see he's actually taking more of a position. No, this is where I want my deck to be.
I'm not picking any more red cards, unless they are truly incredible. Not red 2-drops, certainly. And then we'll see where the deck goes. But I like this pick. I like the discipline. I think Ikawa really understands his position now, and he's going to push it.
Oh, here's an interesting pick. Is it going to be between Tune the Narrative, which again is fantastic with those 2 whales, or are we taking the Sheltering Landscape here? This is a tough one.
Oh, this is a really tough one. That Tune the Narrative is fantastic.
I would, oh man, oh my goodness, I would have slammed that Tune the Narrative and not thought about it, but it's interesting to see. This is a more disciplined pick.
I mean, discipline wrong. I don't even know know what the answer is. Static Prison
Static
wheels
Prison's
here.
gonna
I mean,
make
who
things
am I
easier.
to call the pick wrong? But I'm just saying that tuned the narrative. Looked fantastic for his deck. So this is Ikawa saying that my red cards are so good, I need a way to play them.
Static Prison, though, fantastic. That's a freebie for Ikawa as it came all the way back around the table. Jolted Awake's not too bad. And, oh, no, it's going to be Meltdown instead for the sideboard.
Yeah, absolutely.
This card can do a lot of work.
Incredible sideboard card. You haven't seen that much of the artifact deck going around, so maybe somebody's sitting on 5 Cranial Rams randomly. And if you face them and you have that Meltdown, you're going to feel real good about that pick.
And now another landscape here. So Ikawa picking up the fixing that he... At this stage, I think he can very comfortably splash those red cards here. And another Malevolent Rumble very late, but a Decree of Justice isn't too bad as well. This deck actually doesn't have much of a late game at this stage, and that's a good sort of hedge against that.
It's the type of card that I'm not overly excited playing in this format, but...
And there's the red, and that'll be the red splash just there.
There it is, yeah. We got the
red
Mog Mob.
splash. The Mog Mob, it came all the way back.
It's ready.
And finally, a thriving Sky Claw. So, Ikawa, head in hand there as he massages his temples. Where are you at with this deck?
I like the deck. I do need to see what it looks like finished and put together, but I think that he has a lot of power level. I think he has decent removal. I think he has great synergy. The real question is, how much red does he decide to play? And can he make the mana work? Because if the pieces can come together, I really do think the deck is capable of just incredible wins. But the question is really on the mana and also how many playables did he get in Azorius?
Yes, yeah, and what the foundation of his deck is. And we can actually take a look at how the build was. Now you can see, look at this very, very low curve. Lots of 2-drops, lots of 3-drops, the single Ajani Fells, the God's Eye right at the top of the heap here. But this looks to be, honestly, my assessment, this is just a straight up 3-color deck. This is not a splash. We've got multiple 2-drops in red. We've got Galvanic Discharge through to Glimpse the Impossible. The entire curve is red here. And you can see all of those landscapes. 5 plains, 5 islands, 2 mountains, so a little bit less heavy on the red, but this is more than just a splash.
This is definitely more than he would want it to be. I think if ideally he had the playables, if he could replace these Conduit Goblins with Riddlegate Gargoyles, for example, if this Glimpse the Impossible was a deep analysis or something, maybe he would feel a little better about the deck. As is, I think the deck is still good. I'm still supportive of this deck. I definitely would not call it a train wreck by any means. I think it came together. I think it's fast if the mana works. I think it has the synergy, and the Dreamtide Whales could do a lot of work here with this extremely cheap curve.
So a couple of things to highlight here in terms of challenges this deck may face, and this is where I'm a little bit skeptical, Marnie, is the mana. When you're wanting to cast Conduit Goblin and Riddlegate Gargoyle on turn 2, doesn't leave you a lot of wiggle room. The other issue that I potentially foresee with this list is the late game. We're not seeing the Decree of Justice played. I think that's obviously fine, but you know, if those Dreamtide Whales get dealt with, if you're not able to cobble together something huge with the Emissary of Soulfire, could be some options, could be some issues heading into the later turns. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break, my friends, and on the other side of it, I'm very excited to tell you that we will be coming back with matches with round number 1 of Pro Tour Modern Horizons 3. We can't wait to have your company for it. Stay with us, my friends. On the other side of this, we're kicking off the limited rounds.